The Democrats aren't happy right now. The Supreme Court handed down a decision on a case involving the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Buren. It was the first major Second Amendment case to come before the Supreme Court in more than a decade. Basically, what the Supreme Court did was overturn a law that New York had, that they needed to show proper cause in able to obtain a concealed carry permit, meaning you couldn't just want it for the protection of your family or your business. Even if you were a law-abiding citizen, they didn't care. They were not going to hand out concealed carry permits because it's a liberal city, always has been. The gun violence in New York City is at an all-time high, along with Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia. We've all seen mass shootings all over the place. But what this decision did, in my opinion, is give everyday Americans, law-abiding Americans, who've never had so much as a traffic infraction, it gives them the right to obtain a concealed carry permit for a handgun. And yes, of course, they should go through all the required training to use that handgun properly. The decision, it helps the average citizen living in a war zone such as New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and as many others. Those are the ones that come to mind because those are the ones we see so much. Of course, Eric Adams wasn't happy, the mayor of New York, a retired police captain. Basically, what he's done is just pick up where Bill de Blasio left off. New York is a shithole. Crime is outrageous. Police are leaving the department in droves, early retirements, leaving to go to other departments because they're not able to do the job that they loved and they were trained to do. He says everyone now is less safe with this ruling, which I beg to differ. Why would people be less safe? So the next time another criminal with a firearm goes on a subway and starts shooting people, hopefully there'll be a law-abiding citizen with a concealed carry permit who has a handgun and it can stop the threat. But they don't see it that way. You see, because the Democrats are all about themselves, and it's about do as I say, not as I do. They don't want people to be safe. They don't care about their citizens' safety. They care about, we want to make the rules, you have to obey them, and if you don't, there's going to be a consequence. Governor Hochul, whatever the hell her name is, called the decision reckless and reprehensible. This is a woman who inherited the governor's office when Cuomo was forced to step down in shame. We all know that story. They don't want the people who live in their states to be safe. Now they're going to do whatever they think they can do to basically overturn the Supreme Court's decision. And of course, sleepy Joe Biden was very, very disappointed in this decision. And he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that the American people are safe because, again, this was such a reckless decision on behalf of the Supreme Court, by the Supreme Court on behalf of the people who should, under the Second Amendment, be able to legally own a firearm and carry a concealed pistol. So I'm sure we haven't seen the end of this. We haven't heard the end of it. They're going to say there's going to be more mass shootings. There's going to be more access to firearms from criminals. But what they excuse me, what they fail to understand is, and Joe Biden himself said this in 1985, that if a criminal wants a gun, regardless of the gun laws, they're going to get that gun. Unregistered, no serial number. They're going to get it. And they're going to use it because evil people do evil things. That's basically what's happening to our country right now. The evil regime of Joe Biden is destroying the United States of America every step of the way. So again, he was dismayed and upset and disappointed. And what he fails to understand is no one cares that Joe Biden is disappointed. No one cares that he's going to try to change this decision, which he won't be able to do. No one cares what Joe Biden says regardless, because we all see what Joe Biden's doing. He's destroying our country. He is making it unsafe for the people to live here. He is sending billions and billions of dollars to foreign countries because, as he said, we're at war. We're at war. No, we're not at war. Russia is at war with Ukraine. He chose to put his 2 cents in to defend Ukraine, not a NATO ally, and send them, again, billions of dollars for humanitarian aid, military weapons, and so on. There have even been gun buyback programs in several states or cities. One I know of is in Miami, where they're going to buy back your gun and they're going to send it off to the Ukraine because apparently we're supposed to take care of Ukraine. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that when something like this happens, a decision in favor of an American citizen's right under the Constitution of the United States, a decision was made to uphold that right and stop all the legal red tape that they wanted to do. You had to show proper cause. The proper cause is our communities are unsafe because the Democrats want to defund the police. They started that 2 years ago, and they're still doing it today. Police departments can't get enough people to apply for jobs because people don't want to be cops anymore, because the politicians don't appreciate the seriousness and toughness of the job. They don't care that there's less police on the streets. So what this decision does is gives the everyday American, law-abiding American citizen the right to carry a concealed firearm when they're going about their business every day, whether it's back and forth to work, whether it's out with their family, taking their children to their game. They have the right to have protection because, again, the Democrats want to defund the police. There's not enough police on the street, and I'm one of the biggest police advocates there is. I've been in this profession for almost 20 years, and I defend the police at all costs. And although we know there's bad cops, but the majority of us who work in law enforcement are good people, and we do a thankless job, and the politicians, again, don't care. So I'm happy that this decision was handed down, and it kicked in the face Eric Adams and Governor Hochul, whatever the hell her name is, because this needed to happen for people to be able to defend themselves. So Joe Biden can be unhappy all he wants. All the bleeding hot liberals can be unhappy all they want. The celebrities will come out in droves and start whining and complaining and crying when they're the ones who stand behind armed security guards wherever they go. And these are celebrities you'll see coming out, making commercials, making videos about how disgusting this decision was. But again, they're the ones hiding behind armed security guards wherever they go. In my opinion, the bottom line here is this. This so-called president of the United States we have does not want a constitution. He certainly does not defend the Constitution. And the rest of the dinosaur Democrats in Congress do not want the Constitution because they don't want the American people to have rights. Again, they want do as I say, not as I do. They want a dictator to run the United States of America, and the American people are not going to have it. And the Supreme Court is not going to have it. So this president can whine all he wants, and he can show up at vaccination clinics for children under 5, and he can say, like he did the other night, he needs more money from Congress for the second pandemic, and he said it twice, because there's going to be a second pandemic. Just that alone tells you they're going to do everything in their power to do harm, if you will, to this country up until and after the midterm elections, because they're running scared. They need votes. So I'm assuming by that comment about a second pandemic, he's got big plans. I don't know what they are. I can only imagine. But back to the gun thing, I just wanted to talk about this briefly because this right here, this decision that if you're a law-abiding citizen, you can petition your state, city, or town for a concealed carry permit. If you've never, ever had a run-in with the law, you should be able to carry a firearm for your personal protection, for the protection of your home and family, and for the protection of others around you when another lunatic with an illegal firearm starts shooting. Hopefully there'll be an armed citizen or 2 or 3 that will put holes in that person trying to kill innocent people, because our government doesn't want that. They want all this mayhem. They want these mass shootings, even though it's sad to say. Where are they now? Uvalde's over. You don't hear much about it anymore, right? They're still concerned about the January 6th hearings. It was all a big show. 21 innocent children, or 20 innocent children, 19, 2 teachers, lost their lives because of a lunatic. And if there were some armed teachers in that building who were legally able to carry a firearm, the shooter would have been taken out and the carnage would have stopped. But that didn't happen. But now, hopefully, with this decision, it will happen. And the government's just going to have to eat crow, whether they like it or not. So Matthew McConaughey can go to the White House and give a Emmy Award-winning or Oscar Award-winning speech. All the other bleeding heart celebrities can make TV commercials on how sad they are that there's so many mass shootings and we need gun control now. They can do all that. They can whine, they can cry, they can do whatever they want. This decision right here is gun control. It's putting a legal firearm in the hands of a citizen who would be willing to use it to save others who weren't able to save themselves. And that's just something that the dinosaur Democrats in Congress and Sleepy Joe Biden and Eric Adams and Hochul, whatever the hell her name is, and the Gavin Newsoms of the country, they're going to have to deal with it. Because this is a right under the United States Constitution to bear arms. And that's what it's going to be. So cry all you want, Democrats. And you're going to be crying more in November when you lose a lot of elections and the country starts changing for the better. Because we all know Joe Biden's not doing it. He was never up to the job. He wasn't up to it 40 years ago, and he's certainly not up to it today. And that's it. Go out, buy a firearm, take a course, get a concealed carry permit. God forbid you may need it someday to protect you, your home, or your family, or a perfect stranger. It's your right to do it, and everybody should do it. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. If you haven't already liked this video, please hit the like button. Share my video with someone if you will. And I'll see you soon, because there's so much going on right now that I'm just trying to look for things to talk about. I have so many different ideas, but this popped up, so I had to talk about it briefly. So I hope everybody's healthy and safe, and have a great night, and I'll see you real soon.